Assalamu alaikum and welcome back once again to Today in African History with Baba Shaka. I'm Baba Shaka and today is March 18, 2021. And we are continuing our Women's History Month series. As I mentioned yesterday, I believe, as do many others, for I am not original in this, that it is vitally important that we honor and respect the women who have done notable things throughout our history. No society can rise above the level of its women. I forgot who said that. It wasn't me. It was someone much smarter than I, but I can't recall at this moment. Today, we'll take a look at a woman who has devoted her entire adult life to the service of others. Sybil Pheonix is a community leader who has devoted her life to helping other people, especially in Lewisham, the town she made home. She was born Sybil Theodore Marshall on the 21st of June 1927 in Georgetown, British Guiana, which is now, of course, Guyana. Sybil's mother died when she was 9, and as her father worked in the quarries outside of the capital, Georgetown, and returned home for only a few days each year, she went to live with her grandfather, who was a congregational minister. Sybil became very interested in religion and was admitted to full membership of the church at an unusually early age. Unfortunately, when she was 12, her grandfather died, and she moved in with an uncle and aunt who did not treat her very well. When Sybil left school, she became secretary to the minister of the church where her uncle worked as a handyman. She also helped in the church youth club and did a 3-year course of evening classes in social work. She met her future husband, Joe Phoenix, at the youth club, and when she was in her early 20s, Sybil moved into a home of her own and set up a business with Joe, making dresses and hats, which did well. In 1956, the British Council of Churches arranged for a placement at Notting Hill Citizens Advice Bureau in London, so Sybil and Joe came to England. They were married in June of that year. During their early years in England, they experienced racism and hostility for the first time, both when looking for accommodations and at the local church where Sybil was already doing youth club work. It was hard for them to find somewhere to live because many places to let or to rent displayed no colored signs, which were not illegal back then. At one stage, Sybil lived in a coal cellar and became ill. A church minister asked a church member to help, but the church member told Sybil, quote, "Nobody on my street has taken in colored people yet, and I've got the children to think of," unquote. Hmm. Their first two children were born in 1960 and 1961, and Sybil, who had been working at a milliner's, which where you make hats, gave up her job and took a night job as a canteen cook. As she was looking after the children during the day, she got only 2 to 3 hours of sleep at night, and yet she also found time to do piecework at home. Eventually, in 1962, the Phoenixes moved to 67 Treslian Road, Brockley. Using the couple's money, a white friend purchased the house and did not disclose that the new owners were black. Sneaky, all right. Sybil gave up her job in the canteen and began to foster teenage children, as well as having two more of her own in 1964 and 1965. As usual, she also ran the youth club in her local Methodist church. In 1971, Sybil founded the Moonshot Club in St. John's Hall, Lewisham's Way. The Moonshot became so popular that it was common for 500 people to gather there every night. Sybil organized events, talked to members and counseled them about their problems, and set up classes to enable people to get better educational qualifications. In 1973, Sybil became the first black woman to be awarded the MBE, or the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, in recognition of her outstanding work in the community. The following year, she suffered a personal tragedy when she was involved in a car crash while on holiday in Kent. Her 10-year-old daughter Marcia was killed, and Sybil herself was crippled for months. For a time, her faith was shaken, but she realized that she was needed at Moonshot, and she threw herself back into her work there. By now, the center had sports teams, a young mother's project, discos, and other social events, as well as classes. In 1977, as part of the Royal Jubilee celebrations, Prince Charles visited the Moonshot Club. On the 18th of December 1977, the Moonshot Club was gutted in a firebomb attack. This was a blow to the community. Now, according to a national newspaper, the burning down of the Moonshot had been discussed at a National Front meeting of the previous month. See, the National Front was a right-wing organization. This led to a good deal of tension in the area, and Sybil had to calm people and find temporary accommodations for the club's activities. She also immediately began to raise money for the rebuilding of the center, this time in Pagnell Street. This project was the first of its kind to establish a purpose-built center for the Black community, yet open to the whole community. Sybil alone raised £64,000 to commence the project and was instrumental in raising a further £750,000 to see the project to fruition. In 1979, Sybil and her husband founded the Sybil Pheonix Memorial Trust, a supported housing project for single homeless women aged 16 to 24. In January of 1981, 13 young Black people died in a fire which gutted a house in New Cross Roads while a party was in progress. The cause of the fire has never been determined. Sybil gave practical assistance to the bereaved families, such as arranging funerals for them and helped them to cope with their grief and anger. In March 1981, there was a happy occasion when Prince Charles returned to Pagnell Street to open the new center. Sybil stayed as director until November of that year, when she resigned, thinking, it was time to move on. She went to work at a Methodist church in Camberwell, where she became director of MELRA, which stands for Methodist Leadership Racism Awareness Workshop. For this, she ran courses and weekend conferences in racism awareness. Sybil has also worked for the Community Liaison Scheme and as vice chair of Lewisham's Council for Community Relations, and of course, she remains closely involved with the Sybil Pheonix Memorial Trust. Aside from her MBE, Sybil received many other awards and accolades, including an OBE, or Order of the British Empire, in 2008 for services to the community. She became a Freeman of the London Bureau of Lewisham. Freeman is a medieval term which meant someone who was not the property of a feudal lord but enjoyed privileges such as the right to earn money and own land. Town dwellers who were protected by the charter of their town or city were often free, hence the term freedom of the city. In 1996, she got that honor, and again in 1998, she received Freeman of the City of London. First it was Freeman of the Lewisham Borough of London. Now it's Freeman of the City of London. That was in 1998. The inspiration behind her work lies in her Christian faith and in her steadfast belief in the dignity and rights of human beings, whatever their color. Sybil Theodore Pheonix, showing us how it's done. A big shout out to all my Guyanese people who are trying to make it happen over there in the UK. For those of you who have subscribed to this channel, much love and appreciation to you. For those of you who have not yet subscribed, we invite you to hit that subscribe button. We need your support to continue our goal of bringing you these daily lessons. Please like and comment, but most importantly, please share, especially with the young amongst us. So, until tomorrow, inshallah, this is Baba Shaka with Today in African History. Masalam.